Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you in another video. All right, about the Miami Heat picking up Kevin Love. Kevin Love went to the Heat, you guys. First team he's been to that he actually chose for himself in the history of his career. And of course, he re signed with teams and stuff like that, but he didn't get a chance to do free agency. And this is his very first time doing that. And it got no hoopla, no huge backing for it. But nevertheless, he's a Heat, man. And I think it's a pretty solid situation for him down there with Pat Riley, Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler. I think the Miami Heat have done some good things there, adding some shooting to their situation. They're a quiet team um, that that is quickly putting themselves in a position to boost their front court. And when I say quiet, I mean teams aren't talking about them. Nobody's talking about them. But they picked up Cody Zeller and Kevin Love, and I think that they'll help. Those guys will help their bench a lot. The Heat are sneaky because they're always picking plug in terms of it doesn't really matter who's on the floor. They're going to play the same way. They got guys like Gabe Vincent and Max Strus who can play big minutes in the playoffs. If for some reason anybody's hurt, they're comfortable playing these guys. And you just understand that they are a team that gets their money on the defensive end. And now with them adding some extra shooting to their situation, um, they're interesting. I'm not going to say they're a Eastern Conference contender on paper, but you wouldn't be surprised to see them do good things because they haven't lost too much of what made them who they were last year, getting all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals as one of the better defensive teams. Bam's having a much better season this year than he was then. I think Tyler Hero's more healthy than he was then. So I just think the Miami Heat are a team to take a look at for the second half of the season, see if they can make a push um, to move up the standings. I don't know where they stand in the standings. I didn't check. Um, but I do know for a fact that if they put it together, they can make some noise in the playoffs. If for some reason they make a push, they can upset somebody. So I'm very curious to see what they do. I'm very curious to see how that team does with Kevin Love now down there. What type of role they give him. Cody Zeller as well. He's an underrated player that I think can help some too. So I just like those acquisitions for the Heat. Um, Also, doubling back to Brody and the Clippers, I talked about what I didn't like about that in regards to him not being the greatest floor general, guy who has tendencies that kind of cater himself to basketball games being lost. And, I've been listening to a lot of people talk about it. I was listening to Jason Timpf just now, and essentially his thing was, he didn't think that Brody was the right point guard for the situation over there in Clipperland either, because they need more of a floor general, just like someone like a Mike Conley or somebody who's going to be a bit more stable, somebody who's going to be a bit more consistent. Um, he made it a great analogy, saying it's like adding alcohol to any situation. That's what, like, it could be great or it could be really really bad, and that's, I see it that way to a degree. I think it's better than calling him a vampire, that's for sure, but at the end of the day, Russell Westbrook just showed LA, the Lakers fans particularly, that that his focus is outside of what the team's focus was, which was to win basketball games. He did things. He did certain things on the floor that just did not help us, and it was more of a difficulty for the locker room because I don't think he necessarily vibed well with the fellas. Not to say that he had a bad rapport with everybody, but you got to be able to get along with LeBron James, most importantly. And from where I'm sitting, they had some issues. And so that's just from where I'm sitting. Um, so I don't know. When looking at him going to the Clippers, I think, somebody that mentioned something that I think makes a lot of sense. And I'm just going to echo it. It was just somebody in the comment section randomly in one of the posts I watched. But they were essentially saying that Russell Westbrook, he's signing for under $1 million. That 47 is off the books. And he's not going to be eating up much of what the Clippers got going on. So what that means is, for all of us who think that there's pressure for Ty Lue to start him, there is none. Ty Lue is going to bring him in to start. He's going to start as the Clippers' point guard. But if for some reason Ty Lue doesn't like what he sees, I don't think that Westbrook has the cachet on this Clipper team that he's used to having. That's what I'm here to tell you. Yes, he's starting, but his security with the roster is probably less secure than it was with the Lakers as a bench player, is what I'm telling you. because I don't think for 1 second if he starts screwing up the way that he did against the Lakers, they would have any hesitation with benching him and starting Terrence Mann and just moving forward that way. I'm telling you, because a lot of Clipper fans, I'm looking at them and they're saying they're upset that they did this. They didn't want to get rid of Reggie Jackson. They don't like the fact that they got a little older by bringing in Westbrook, Plumlee, and Gordon and letting go of the young guys that they did, although everybody's happy about bringing in Bones Highland. That was just them getting lucky. That was Ballmer's money working in his favor, I believe. Somebody hooked him up. But honestly, they didn't make moves that made them younger. They made moves that made them significantly older. And the bench that they had is strong, but it was strong because they had youngsters offsetting the old guys. Now they just got a bunch of old guys. And that's what I see with the Clippers. They got significantly older. When you really consider what they had left over, you're talking about guys that are going to be playing meaningful minutes like Batum, Covington, Morris. These are guys who didn't look old on the Clipper roster because they were slapped next to Coffee, Mann, and some of these other guys who were still there, but they've gotten rid of a lot of the younger guys in regards to letting Kennard leave. Obviously Reggie Jackson's not a young guy, but you're letting him go at 31, I believe, bringing in Russell Westbrook, a little older than that, Plumlee a little older than that. Eric Gordon got to be in his early 30s. Got to be early 30s. So it's like this team got older, and they're going to be leaning on players. Nick Batum and like I said, Covington and these guys, they now collectively look like an old team. And I don't think that really makes them better. Yeah, Westbrook to that. You still got Norman Powell, even though he's playing great. He's playing off injury. Kawhi and PG aren't young. You see what I'm saying? The youth on this team is now rendered to Bones Highland, Zubac, Mann, Coffee, and is there any other young players on this team? Am I tripping? Those are only 4 guys come to mind. Everybody else is old. So that is what's going to hurt the Clippers. That's what's going to hurt the Clippers. They weren't old to start the season. They had youth. But they got old for some reason in the deadline. And I don't know why they did that, but I think it's going to hurt them. Old bodies is going to have you looking like the Lakers did last year. Because it's not about whether a guy's going to be vets and going to be good enough to be smart enough to be, you know what I mean? It's that moniker that you need vets in order to win. I don't think so. Not anymore. Because even if those smart vets are good enough, they ain't going to be strong enough and fast enough to keep up with the kids. Kids are just going to run them out the gym anyway. And so that's what you end up finding with this synchronized swimming way of officiating the games. These kids don't even have to be punished. They don't even have to be fouled hard to get to the line. So it's like, it's a different day. You running out there with these old veteran guys, they can come in and play in spurts, but you do need those young guys to carry the weight. And if the young guys are now in units and in lineups where the guys next to them are old, it's gonna be glaring. It's gonna be glaring. Coffee, Bones, and Mann, I would try to keep them in rotation, and Zubac, I would try to keep them on the floor together. Keep that youthfulness together. You're going to want that in spurts if you're the Clippers. Because I'm telling you, as sure as my name is BDF44, you're going to run into some situations where they're just going to find out they're too old. They're going to run into the Denvers. Run into, who else? Memphis. These are teams they would rather not see, man. Those are the teams I think the Clippers would rather avoid. Denver and Memphis. Get away from those teams if at all possible. I'd want to see the Dallas Mavericks again. Every Clippers always run to Dallas. I'd rather see them. So it's less to guard, even though you got to deal with Kyrie and Luka. You'd much rather not. The Clippers, they probably rather run into the Lakers. At least with AD and Bron, we're a little older. Our team has also been assembled. Most of our team has been assembled in the second half, so I'm pretty sure the Clippers feel confident against us. So, just being honest, there are certain matchups that because of the trades the Clippers made, they should probably avoid. They should now probably avoid. And that is strange because now I'm looking at their roster. I'm like, okay, they did get rid of John Wall, so that helps. He's older. They want him out of there for cool. You got rid of, Kennard, younger. I just don't know about that. They're starting Marcus Morris at the 4. I like him stretching the floor, and I know he's been a really nice player. I remember the tenure he had with the New York Knicks. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he balled out with the Celtics. So he's had some good years. But I'm telling you, he is not a starting power forward in today's league. He's not. And the Clippers are going to find out the hard way. If that's what they're doing, they may want to take a look at that and revamp that again. And then they're going to put the ball in Brody's hands. I understand what people are saying in regards to the Clippers have much better shooters than the Lakers had to start the season. And so Brody's possessions to possession should be easier, should be better, because he's going to be getting the ball to people who can shoot. There's going to be some people who you have to guard on the perimeter a bit more than the guys that he was playing with down there with the Lakers. That's going to make it so that he has more space to do what he does. So it's a much better fit. In my opinion, it is a better fit. But the problem is, he's still going to be himself. What does that mean? That means he's going to throw possessions away. He's going to have the ball in his hands when it needs to go in other people's hands. He may get them the ball here and there, but there's going to be times when he's going to want it himself. He's just going to throw the ball up. It's going to be 16 seconds to go in the shot clock, and he's going to launch up a corner bank shot, and it's going to brick. It ain't going to be rebound. It's going to go the other way, and Kawhi Leonard's going to go crazy. He's not going to be okay with it. I already see how this is going to go. Because we went through this as Laker fans for 2 years. And they're going to try to cram him into a situation where they only got to have like 25 games left to play, and he's supposed to be their floor general. I just think it's a recipe for failure. You're asking for it. You are absolutely asking for it. You took a really good Clipper team. You made some decent moves, and then you brought in somebody that can't help you. And I feel like I'm Skip Bayless 2 years ago when he was telling us that we did all these good moves with the Lakers and did everything right, and then brought Brody to us and ruined it. And nobody wanted to hear him. I didn't want to hear him. But I'm telling you, 2 years later, he was absolutely right. That's exactly what it was. We did all these good moves. You did all this good stuff. And then you brought Brody to your situation. And he's going to ruin it for you. And that's exactly what's going to happen this year with the Clippers. It's exactly what's going to happen. I'm telling you, nobody's worried. All these Laker fans over here who watching this happen, none of us are sitting here saying, dang, he turned on us. Oh, why'd he go down the hall? Oh, none of us are saying that. Not a single Laker fan. We're all saying, yep, we're glad he's gone. And the Clippers just happens to be somewhere else. And that's exactly where you needed to be. You know what I'm saying? They're somewhere else. Someone else's problem. That's what that is. Now he gets to get on their floor, play against us, and work in our favor. Because that's what he did when he played against us. Played for us against them. You know what I mean? So that's what it is, man. Listen. At $47 million, the Lakers managed to stay just under 500 with him as their point guard. We were good enough with LeBron James and a hurt here and there Anthony Davis to not even get to the 500 mark. We couldn't do it. And it wasn't Brody's fault, and everybody who loved Brody gonna let you know it wasn't his fault. But I'm telling you, I think a big part of why we weren't able to do that is because he was at 47. So it definitely was his fault. Or whoever traded for that contract, to be exact, it led to that being as bad as it was. But I think even more so, you look at it and say, okay, he's with the Clippers now. He's only making $700,000. It's not eating up a bunch of their cap, but it's still his personality, which means he gonna come in and demand he get the respect that he deserved. And even if he comes off the bench, he gonna play like a certain, he gonna play like he's himself, the Hall of Famer that he's decorated as, and that works against him because he doesn't do the things that help you win. So it's like, all right. And you got to understand, another thing is, like, with the exception of Kawhi Leonard, he going to look at himself as the most accomplished player on the team. Even though Paul George, his brother, basically trying to lobby for him to get there, it's going to be definite respect between him and Paul. It's not even about that. But it's just about how he views himself. He going to see himself as a better player than Paul George when he get there. Just like he saw himself as a better player than Paul George in OKC. And he going to see it that way. He going to see it the same way he saw it in OKC. It's like, it's my team, Even a little different situation, but it's still my team. I got to go get my groceries, you guys. Cut it short. BDL 44.